Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am the Slime King Dojimaman, and today I'm here to present to you the first of many in a video series called Genshin Impact Comps You've Never Heard of. This series of videos aims to bring awareness to comps ranging from variations of the most popular comps to completely new ones that just might challenge your understanding of the game. And who knows, you might be able to find a team here that might spice up what is understood as a meta growing staler by the update. Before we begin, I would just like to point out that everything in this video is purely my opinion. By no means should you take my words out of context or as law. With that out of the way, let's get to the nitty and gritty. The meat and the bones are granddaddy's motherfucking panties for Petra Zhongli. That's right, don't double take. Don't close the video. I am recommending 4 Petra Zhongli as a non-meme perfectly viable composition. In fact, I dare say that in some situations it's actually better to run Petra Zhongli than VV Vape variations. First, let's talk about the Petra set in general and why the community seems to frown upon using this said set. So the artifact 4-piece set states that upon obtaining an elemental shard created through a crystallized reaction, all party members gain a 35% damage bonus for that particular element for 10 seconds. And only one form of this bonus can exist at any given time. So the reason why people often frown upon using this set is because of the general clunkiness. The user of the set must be the one to pick up the crystallized shards formed. And that can lead to just a plethora of rotational issues that decrease its viability to run in most comps. And most of the time, barring mono-element teams, the damage it does provide isn't even comparable to an Anemo unit like Kazuha, Sucrose, or even to a certain extent, Venti. But here's the twist. There is actually one comp that not only makes Petra Zhongli shine, it also reduces the general weaknesses that this set provides, given the narrative that there are superior alternatives. I know. I've kept you waiting. I've teased you long enough. Hu Tao's best comp is composed of Hu Tao, Sincho, Amber, and Zhongli. Now, it's not a secret that Hu Tao's best comp right now is with Sincho, Amber, Kazuha. This comp theoretically has the highest damage output for Hu Tao. However, most players don't run this comp simply because it lacks a healer or a shielder. And this is further strengthened by the fact that Hu Tao's most popular comp is Double Geo with Sincho, Albedo, and Zhongli. Of course, there are other shielder options like Thoma or Yanfei, but that requires either high investment or a godly instructor set for Thoma and C4 for Yanfei. Not all players are looking to invest that much just for their supports that in no way, shape, or form deal damage. This is where Petra Zhongli comes into play. This comp, in my opinion, bridges the gap between the best of both worlds. You have shielding, you have buffs, and you have an ease of rotational execution. One of the major advantages of this comp is its ease of use. Right now, I will be demonstrating to you how to perform this rotation. First thing we need to do is wait for Magu Kenki to stand the fuck up. Alright, once he stands up, the rotation is simply Sincho E, into Q, into E, and then switch to Amber to Q, and then switch to Zhongli to hold E. And then you proceed to just wreck them granddaddy's panties with Hu Tao. You know what I mean? Now, constellations and weapons obviously will make this rotation either smoother or just flat out better. Namely, C2 Zhongli, Amber C6, and Elegy for the end. Now, even without these, this comp is still perfectly viable and at times even better just because applying VV to Pyro consistently does not always happen. For example, in the Kazuha variation, Sincho's Rain Sword Orbital tends to mess up with your ability to swirl Pyro, and thus giving you more of a stricter timing in your rotation to swirl both Hydro and Pyro. And oftentimes, with multiple enemies, Amber's Q won't be able to apply pyro to every unit caught inside her burst, and thus nullifying the very reason why you've even run this comp in the first place. For the Sucrose variation, it requires even more mechanical skill in order to execute the rotation properly. Basically, you will need to Sincho E, Q into E, and then Amber Q into Sucrose's first auto attack, and then into her E, which has an even stricter timing, but in my experience, if you can pull it off, it is more reliable than Kazuha's rotation. What about the clunkiness of the Petra set? With C2 Zhongli, the general clunkiness of its set is greatly countered by the fact that you're dealing damage and applying shield at the same time. For shield bot builds, C2 is useless. How about at C0? It is still very clunky. It requires a bit more thought and attention to make sure you pick the right crystal up. That is the greatest caveat of this comp. However, as I highlighted just a few seconds ago, the rotational difficulties of proccing VV double swirling in Hu Tao teams is also a very real thing. And in my opinion, making sure you pick up the right crystal, even if it takes an additional 2 seconds, is way easier than trying to swirl Pyro and Hydro consistently. Think about it this way. If you don't swirl Pyro and Hydro at the same time, or at least at close proximity with each other, then the very reason you brought an Anemo and another Pyro in a Hu Tao comp in the first place is gone. Of course, it is to each their own. If you can perform the more difficult rotations consistently, then this comp becomes less pleasing. But the thing is, the harsh reality, not all people can. What if you don't have Elegy for the end? Well, it's no secret that having Elegy of the End will truly elevate this comp to the next level. Without it, Amber can still be able to proc the Instructor set and apply Pyro. It will provide an ample damage increase that frankly, no other comp can provide. As for C6 Amber, that is more of a luxury than a necessity. It's good to have, but not in any way game-changing. Now, does it do more damage than the Amber Kazuha variation? Of course not. You see, that's not the point. While the Petra set gives a hefty 35% elemental damage increase, Kazuha gives the same or more with his and applying VV, while Sucrose also applies VV and gives EM bonuses respectively. But it does, however, provide more damage than Hu Tao's currently most popular team, being Double Geo. It provides a very nice middle ground between damage and safety, and that is something I think most players are actually looking for. However, the biggest elephant in the room is it worth farming the Petra domain? In my opinion, yes. Shieldbot Zhongli will take no time at all to farm, as he only needs all HP pieces. If you have a good DPS Petra set, then by all means, use it. But it is not a necessity. And thus, if you've been dying to try a comp that is a little spicier than your usual Hu Tao composition or variation, then this one's definitely for you, baby. So, what do you think? Did I change your mind? Did I open it up to new possibilities with the Petra set? Let me know down in the comments below. Or better yet, you can let me know over at twitch.tv/Dojimaman, where I stream Genshin every day. I'd be happy to answer a few of your questions. With that being said, that concludes the first video of Genshin comps you've never heard of. This is our parting. Farewell.